All right, welcome in. It is time for Total Bases Saturday show, 10 a.m. Eastern, right before last call. And we're going to do a special show tomorrow. So we are 2 days away from the end of the first half. And since the four of us are going to miss you for 4 days while the All-Star break is going on and there's no games, we have decided that the three of us are going to come on and do a 9 a.m. Eastern show tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern, to close out the first half. So you're getting 2 weekend shows this week. So let's get into it. I'll start it off. Tough one for me last night. I had the Nationals plus 1.5. Listen, It comes with the territory. I'm not complaining because it comes with the territory of betting the Nationals that you're going to have to survive some bullpen. But Bryan, Leonard, all I needed to do was get Austin Wells out. The guy has a 148 batting average, and I didn't even need to get him out. I just needed him to not hit the ball out of the ballpark. He's more concerned about reviewing a burrito at this point. And he comes up. If you follow Austin Wells on Instagram, you'll know he's a big burrito guy. He reviews them at every city he goes to. But yeah, he got me in the ninth, 4-3 solo shot, 5-3 sinks my Nats plus 1.5 bet that I felt like should have been a win. So a 1-1 Friday for me. Please tell me your night was better than that.
Well, I also was on Washington for a small play, and I had obviously the play in the parlay here. They needed to score 5. They didn't get there. My 4% now on 11-1 run. We had Tampa Bay yesterday. That was a wire-to-wire winner. So a winning day for clients. I did use Detroit. I couldn't make up my mind if I wanted Washington or Detroit. And of course, I used Detroit as my free play, and they win in blowout fashion. But yeah, I apologize for anybody who had Washington yesterday. But yeah, we continue to win 11-1 on 4 and 5% plays. I do have a 4% up early. It's a day game today. So looking forward to continuing the run.
TB, you always bring the heat when it comes to your wardrobe. This might be my favorite outfit you've wore all season. That hat is incredible. That's an incredible hat. And, how was your Friday? How did your Friday go?
Kind of a mix between Mick Mars and Santana, I guess, is today's influence. I had Boston Red Sox yesterday, which was big plus money. I don't know why they were underdogs, but they won easily, and lost Miami, but I went 1-1, but with plus money, I came out a little bit on top. So it was an okay day. Programming note, I won't be doing a Sunday show on my channel. I will be doing the Sunday show here. But next week, I'll be back doing a Sunday show on my channel. And I have a 4% play in Major League Baseball today. It's a play I really like. So, good day to get a double play. You can get a double play on Sundays as well. 2 of us 3, $59 for 3 days, all access, including all 5% plays. It's a great deal.
I do want to point out, you mentioned the Boston Red Sox. I think a lot of that money came in because Boston had a hard time getting out of their last place, and they didn't even get in. That's one of the reasons why they pushed that game back a little bit, because of the travel situation. And a lot of times people will see that on the internet and go, oh, they're travel problems. And I think you got good numbers because of that, because they didn't seem to have any effect on them.
Well, Bryan, let's stay on that topic. That's our feature game today, Fox Sports 1, 4 p.m. Eastern. So, yeah, it turns out all you need to do to get the Red Sox going is just mess with their travel. Because if you remember, they had a hard time getting back from Denver ahead of the Yankees series, and they went out and swept the Yankees. And they were playing as bad as could be at that time. Now they get in. They have to move the game. I can't remember a time where they actually got in so late that they had to move the start time of a game for the Red Sox, and they come out, and it's a no-doubt winner for TB, a no-doubt winner for the Red Sox. They're suddenly hot. Red Sox Mets this afternoon. How are you seeing this one?
Well, right now, according to the Odds Logic page here at a WagerTalk, our line service, excellent line service. If you're not getting it, make sure you do. Boston is listed Rivera. He's a lefty. He's going against Freddie Peralta. Peralta's about a 155 favorite, total of 8.5. I don't know about Rivera. You follow the minors, Trig. What's going on in that situation?
Yeah, so this is, sorry, Bryan, say it again. Eduardo Rivera is who you're asking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I got to be honest. I haven't gotten to see him as much because he was out for a period of time. Now, from a rating standpoint, so if that's who they're going to go with, there's no question. Like he's the most talented arm they have down there, and I think it's worth noting that Worcester is not a very good team this year. They probably have one of the weakest teams, like from a talent standpoint. So a couple of these teams at AAA, and the way AAA is set up, you're going to have like your really good prospects and like your high upside guys that are like right on the cusp of the big leagues. But there are some organizations that don't have that. And so like actually these two teams are mirror images of each other at AAA. It's a lot of journeyman guys, right? It's a lot of these like guys that you'll know all their names, right? Like you would look at this lineup and you'll be familiar with every one of their names, and they're just not really guys that are going to like move the needle at the big league level. So Eduardo Rivera is one of the only ones on this Worcester team that sort of fits the bill of prospect. Obviously, Jake Bennett he gets called up, so that Eduardo Rivera, 23 years old, he's a lefty, came up, I believe he was drafted by the A's, came from the A's organization. But yeah, I just didn't get, so what they were doing, yeah, he kind of did pitch regularly. Okay, I know what they did with him now. They moved him to the bullpen. So he wasn't starting games. That's why I kind of lost track of him. He wasn't like starting every fifth day. That's like, that's how you'll lose. I'll lose track of guys sometimes at the AAA level if they get moved to the bullpen. I am following bullpens, but it's just hard to track them the same way you would a AAA starter. So they moved him to the bullpen. He didn't have he didn't have the same kind of success that he had earlier in the season there. But the last month or so, he's been really, really good. So if I look at his July numbers, 0.59 batting average against, a 0.35 whip. Obviously, though, that's a very small sample. That's 3 bullpen outings over the course of 5.2 innings. That being said, when you look at his whole season, things that I like, Bryan, 62 strikeouts and 48 innings pitched, a 1.15 whip. And yeah, they are high on him. Like that is sort of like the guy that I think that they would look in their organization right now and say he's our best option at the AAA level to come up and bring an arm up to the big leagues, because obviously they've already brought up Bennett. And then the other young guys that were in this sort of group, the Tolley, Connolly early, have already been up. So that's kind of what you're getting out of Eduardo Rivera. I don't dislike him. He could throw a good game today.
Yeah, he's ranked as their 26th best prospect this season. He did come from Oakland, as you mentioned. He's pitched both starter and reliever. My only question is, right now, are they planning on using him as a full starter, or are they just going to bring him as a reliever? Because, to be honest with you, I think the Mets line is a little high here. Boston's playing better ball than the Mets are. The Mets' offense is starting to come around. They've got enough talent where they'll be playing well, but I see some value on Boston if they use him as a starter and let him go maybe 4 innings.
I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked. He hasn't thrown more than 2 since early April. This is likely a 1 to 2 winning deal for him.
Yeah. So without really knowing, I can't really add much to it.
TV, we'll go to you. Red Sox, Mets. How are you seeing this one?
I read Brian Bayo's going to get the bulk of the work today, but I don't know.
It's possible.
I read that they may bring him up over the weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. If so, Mets team total sounds good to me because that guy can't pitch. And, the only one thing against that is Boston's bullpen is pitching really well right now. Both teams are hitting well. Boston's bullpen is pitching well. The Mets bullpen is a little bit in shambles. Peralta not a ranked very high according to my numbers. So an over in this game or a Mets over. It's probably going to be hot today. So I would think over would be the way I would go here, especially if they put Bayo in. I'd go over 12.5 if he's pitching.
TB, that actually makes a lot of sense. They're probably going to move things around and bring a couple of guys up, and it would make sense for them to go Rivera. And then Bayo's been getting starts at the minor league level. He hasn't pitched since July 1st, so we're talking about a 10-day layoff. Not really. So here's the thing. I watched his start. I think I maybe played against him one time. I watched his start against Syracuse, the most recent start. It was probably the best he looked. But again, this is not a great Syracuse lineup. So I'll just go into the teams that he has faced at AAA: Rochester, Lehigh Valley, Toledo, and Syracuse. Rochester's got a pretty good lineup. That was back in June, so they definitely had their sort of good bats. He lasted 4 innings, gave up 5 hits, 2 runs, 5 strikeouts, no walks. He didn't look awful. Like, that's the thing. He hasn't looked – it's not like he's gotten absolutely throttled at AAA, but has he gone out and really dominated? I guess you could say he dominated Toledo back on June 25th, but not a great lineup either. So again –
He hasn't faced Juan Soto.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I feel like we've seen this story before with Bayo, and he's kind of hard to trust at this point. Like, can he go out and just have a good start? Like, yeah, it's possible, but I don't really know if he's a guy I want to bet on. That being said, if they're going to go Rivera and then sort of, Bayo's only in there for 3-4 innings and go to the bullpen, I don't really hate that. So it's kind of a tricky game here. So Bryan, like, just to wrap this up before we go to the next game, were you kind of looking toward the Red Sox here if you could get the pitching matchup you wanted, or no?
Yeah, I forgot. I read the same thing about Bayo. I didn't remember if it was going to be today or tomorrow, but they said they were bringing it back up. I don't want to bet on a team that's got Bryan Bayo in it, so I'll be passing.
Yeah,
I have a feeling that's going to be a pass for me as well.
Scott Bayo before Bryan Bayo.
Was that Charles in charge? It was a little bit before my time. Is that okay?
Yes.
All right. Let's so before we go to the next game, I do have to tell you that the home office extended the coupon code Adam30 for the rest of the weekend. Now, I don't have anything up for sale yet for today. I will at some point. But again, I can't stress this enough. If you are going to buy plays and you can do it long term, it is always going to be the way to go. I was playing around with the webpage and realized that you can use that coupon on something that's already discounted. So, for example, if you were to say, Trig, I want to roll with you for the year is there's already $540 discount built in on the website to the year. And then you can still get another 30% off using the coupon code Adam30. It comes out to $2.80 a day. That's what we're talking about when we talk about the long term. And that goes for everyone that you see on the screen or anyone on the site. You should always try to get in when they have these little discounts and knock that daily per day rate down as much as you can. So that is the spiel I have there. Coupon code Adam30 extended through the weekend. Hannah, I got you. Hannah messaged me last night. I said I'd get this game into for her today. She didn't know if she was going to be able to watch the show on demand. So Hannah's on her way to American Fiat, whatever the heck they're calling that ballpark up in Milwaukee today. American Family Insurance Field or something to that nature. Bryan Leonard, that'll always be Miller Park to your boy. I that's a Miller Park to me. But doubleheader up there today. So anything for Hannah on the doubleheader, game 1 or game 2, can you get into this series at all?
Yeah, first off, for Hannah, if you're on your way to Milwaukee, you're in the wrong city because they're playing in Pittsburgh today. So
my bad. Sorry. PNC Park.
That'll save you the drive.
Yeah. Don't go to Milwaukee. PNC Park. Sorry about that. Yes,
I got such great tickets for the game tonight. Okay.
This is in Pittsburgh.
Yes, it is. In fact, they've got a doubleheader going because yesterday's game it was rained out, and it was one of those days where they were trying to get it in. It was a tough day for people who went to the ballpark last night. I'm sorry for anybody in Pittsburgh who had to deal with that. I've been there sometimes in all the years I've been going to ball games, and it makes for a really long day the next day, which means the players are in that same ballpark mentality where they know they're going to have to play a doubleheader. And my only thing, because this is a doubleheader, we don't know how the game's going to go. Nothing regarding the actual game, but you will see the umpires possibly calling more strikes if the other team is out of challenges. You will see the players swinging earlier in the count because they've already sat there all night long last night. Now they're back for another long day today. They want to get these games over with as soon as possible. So that's something you don't normally see in a game. So it's something that you need to handicap. So I will I'm going to leave it at that because I don't like to handicap double headers without knowing what's going on, and there's too many questions here for me.
Yeah, how could I mess that up? I only saw like at least 20 tweets last night of a beautiful PNC Park with no rain and people being like, why are we not playing baseball here? So yeah, I don't know how I could possibly mess that up. Hannah, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. I think you've gone to a Brewers game before and like asked me about it. So maybe in my head, I was thinking that you were heading to, well, you are going to a Brewers game, but this one's in Pittsburgh. I do have an opinion here. Tokyo Brandon, I'm going to let you go first because I want to give you the dealer's choice here, game 1 or game 2. I know you don't like to bet game 2s, but it seems like game 2, there's a little bit more known about it at this point. So I'm going to go to you first. Brewers, Pirates, PNC Park, Pittsburgh, doubleheader. Any comments there, and then I'll finish this one up.
I'll just break down game 2 because the starters are not set for game 1, and just tell you, I got both of these teams ranked top 10 in hitting, and I've got both bullpens mediocre to bad. So I would be going with an over, if anything. I know Drohan has decent numbers. His ERA is under 3, but his expected numbers are not that good, very mediocre actually. And Bubba Chandler is not pitching well. So I would go with an over here, especially in a game 2 where everyone's all used up from game 1 and getting stringy and strung out. Yeah, game 2s tend to go over. So I probably bet an over on game 2 if I had to bet it.
So I kind of want to see a lineup here. We do know who's pitching game 1. They're just going to run it back with last night's matchup. So game 1 is going to be Braxton Ashcraft against Brandon Sproat. I didn't have a play in this game last night. I did lean toward the Pirates, and now I'm leaning toward trying to find a way to play the Pirates today. So the big thing the big news with the Pirates last night is they made a trade, and they made a trade that I like for them, and they made a trade that I think. If anything, I don't know if we'll see him in the lineup today. I think it kind of sends a message that hey, we believe we can win with this team a little bit. So if you missed that trade, they got Jacob Gonzalez from the White Sox late last night. The trade is Brandon Eisert and Jacob Gonzalez coming over from Chicago. They gave, I believe, the 34th overall pick in today's draft, and then one of their minor league relievers. So that was the trade that was made last night. I love this trade for the Pirates because Jacob Gonzalez is just going to get slotted into Connor Griffin's spot because, of course, Connor Griffin is hurt. And that's actually, I think it's almost like I don't think you drop off anything with Connor Griffin to Jacob Gonzalez. Now, is Connor Griffin probably going to be a better player during his career than Jacob Gonzalez? Of course he is. The guy looks like, he's basically Mike Trout in terms of where he was drafted, signed, how old he is and how good he is at his age. But right now, let's not forget, Jacob Gonzalez was a first rounder a few years ago, 15th overall pick in the draft for the White Sox. And this year, he's finally starting to come around. Brian Leonard, he has he's one dotting AAA right now. He has a 1.0 whatever OPS in AAA. That's phenomenal. I love this for the Pirates. Go ahead. What do you have to say?
Yeah, I like Gonzalez too. Keep in mind, as you mentioned, he'll be slotted in as your shortstop. The White Sox had to play him out of position because they've got a great young shortstop with a lot of power. So the White Sox got a lot of good young players all across the lineup. So, he'll be coming in and playing shortstop. And although he's not going to be as good as the other guy, he's going to be very impressive. I think he's got a nice future. So I also agree. I think that's a good deal for them.
So yeah, and the other thing I wanted to say here, I was looking to maybe put this out before the show. I wanted to see where the line was going to settle. A lot of books did not have game 1 up right before we came on the show because I think they were waiting for them to re-announce the starting pitchers. But you're getting Braxton Ashcraft. You guys know how I feel about him. I think he's been underrated most of his time in the big leagues because he's been behind Paul Skeens, tremendous pitcher. I think he gives them a little bit of a pitching edge here over Sproat, even though I think Sproat has thrown it better. But here's the glaring stat for me that I love and makes my case for Pittsburgh, in my opinion. The Pirates this year, plus 33 run differential. The only teams in Major League Baseball that are better than that are the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Brewers, the Braves, and the Cubs. And then the Rays also have a plus 33 run differential. So what they essentially did, we talked about this all week long. Pirates number 2 WRC plus. They've had a tremendous offensive season. All you've had to do like this week is decide, well, are they still that good offensively now that a couple of these guys are hurt? Well, they just solved one of these problems because right now, Jacob Gonzalez, I think you put him in for Griffin. That's an even swap at this point. Will he be in the lineup today at some point? He could be. He played in Charlotte last night. So Charlotte to Pittsburgh. I don't know if they're going to go that quickly, but I could see it. We've seen, Brian, we've seen guys leave a dugout in the series and go to the other dugout and play the next day. This guy played in Charlotte last night. Why can't he make it up to Pittsburgh for the game? I'm going to be looking for him in the lineup. Icer actually probably helps this bullpen, gives him a lefty. I love the trade for the Pirates. And if anything, I think it just gets the juices flowing for a 47-47 team that's like 4.5 games out of the break or out of the wild card. I think the Pirates are going to take at least one of the games in this doubleheader. This will be my parlay leg, and I'm probably going to put it out for clients. So I'm going to go Pirates game 1. I like them better in game 1. I may come back with them in game 2 if I do. Follow me on Twitter. I'll tweet it there. But I think it sets up better for them in game 1. It's a noon start, and that is going to be my leg of the parlay. Brian, what am I looking at for a line? Because I couldn't really find a
it's
line
about a
for
115 right now. And keep in mind that Ashcraft's starts have been higher scoring. They seem to score a lot when he pitches. The line here is 8.5. I was hoping to get an 8, or I would have joined you on the total, or I would have played the total also. But by the way, I got in contact with Kelly the other day on the Slack, the company Slack, and told her that her one bad decision since I've known her is to have you mute yourself all the time. So she gave it a laugh, and she goes, "I know, I'm the one that told him to do it." So I've got it clearance from Kelly that you don't have to do that anymore because it makes more noise when you hit the button to mute than it does for anything that would have happened. So
interesting. I like I said, I always fear not doing what she tells me to do. So yes,
she's pretty heavy-handed.
For a while, she was like, I can hear everything. I can hear you taking notes. I can hear you ruffling your papers. You got to mute yourself when you're not talking. And now it's just such a habit to do it that I do it. So yeah, I'll work on that. I'll try to stop doing that during the show. It's literally just a habit over years and years of doing this every single day. Sometimes you just start doing things second nature. This is a 4% play for me. I'm locking it in. Nice. I love this setup for the Pirates. I think they come out fired up in game 1. I think internally that sent a message to this team that like, we think you guys can compete this year. When was the last time the Pirates sent a message to their team and their fans like, hey, we kind of think this year is still on the table? Right? Because they would, if they didn't think they could compete this year, they're not trading a 34th overall pick. That's a high draft pick. And this is a good draft. And they're trading that guy to get Jacob Gonzalez to come and help you right now. I think the Pirates are going to be fired up about that. This is a noon Eastern game, and I think they come out and play a great game behind Ashcraft and get the win. So Pirates game 1 minus 116 is what the site gave me. That's client play. And that's a 4% client play, and that will be our leg of the parlay. Okay, sorry that one went a little bit long, but we did kind of talk about 2 games. That's of course a doubleheader. So sorry we went a little bit long about that one. Let's go back to the chat and get another game here. Oh, we got a donation, so we should do that one. Alex Rand jumps in. Alex, can we talk Tigers Phillies? Phillies 3 runs past 2 games. Do they bounce back? Or do they stay flat? Brian, I think it was you that you said you had a free play up on this game yesterday. So talk to us today. Are you getting to the window in Tigers Phillies?
Yeah, this is going to be my part of the parlay on today's card. We're looking at Lefty Sanchez against Mize. Sanchez is about a 135 favorite right now. 7.5 to the under 20. And I'm going to play the under here. Detroit day games have been especially looking towards the under, and it's an earlier game. They consider 4 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern is the cut, or 7 p.m. Eastern is the cutoff. So this is a little bit earlier, slightly earlier, and you have to worry about the sun, obviously, in a lot of these places when you're starting between day and night. So that's going to always help the pitching in that situation. Sanchez had the really bad start, but he's an excellent pitcher, and he's one of the guys that I always like to back. Detroit, he's a lefty, which means Detroit's got some left-handed batters in that lineup that are some of their power bats. They will either not play, or they will have to wait until the bullpen comes in, and probably the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning if Sanchez gets that far. I like that situation. Casey Mize has been terrific. As I've said before, I was never a big Casey Mize fan. I'm a Casey Mize fan right now. Philadelphia bats, now they're playing some good pitching in a good pitcher's ballpark. Their offense has struggled a little bit. The 7.5 under 20 is the way I'm going to look here. I'm going to play that game under with two guys that I really want to back pitching-wise, and the bullpens are not really a major concern for me. I think both guys are going to go at least 6 innings. I wouldn't surprise me if Sanchez goes 7. So we will look for that. We'll look for this game to go under the 7.5 minus 120 is my part of the parlay.
TB, Tigers, Phillies to you. How are you seeing this one?
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with Bryan on that one. I expect Sanchez to bounce back. Usually elite pitchers, when they have, he just absolutely gacked. And you got to, everyone has a game like that. Nolan Ryan had a game like that. Tom Seaver had a game like that. So there are going to be games like that. Doesn't mean he sucks now. So especially the elite guys, they almost always bounce back and never have 2 bad games in a row. So I expect him to bounce back. I also agree that Casey Mize is very legit. I would lean to an under in this as well, just because the two pitchers are pitching outstanding right now. Phillies bullpen is a concern. Their lineup is also a concern because they're not hitting very well right now. I got Philly ranked 21 in current form, Detroit ranked 13. So yeah, not too much, not murderer's row lineups here. So the under could be good if that Philly bullpen doesn't completely puke all over the place, because they have been doing a lot of that lately. So can't argue with an under here. I'd probably go that way as well.
Yeah, Bryan, back to you. I can't argue either. My numbers are coming out around 7, and you know how I feel about that key 7.5. So I'm with you here.
The last 2 times Sanchez has had a bad game. He had an 18-game score against the Cubs back in April, turned around against the Giants, went 6 2/3, 2 earned runs.
Yeah.
And then at Washington, just a few games back, he had a 39-game score, turned around and had an 81-game score going against Pittsburgh, 7 shutout innings. So he's bounced back strong after a bad outing. And let's just say that could have been the worst outing of his career last time out. Yep. He went 3 1/3, give up 9 earned runs at Kansas City against those Royals of all teams. So I would expect a big bounce back from him today.
Yeah, that was a weird game too. Mm-hmm. It was like this wraparound Monday day game. That was just weird. You don't see that very often anymore. Like that used to be something they used to do more often than they do now. Now you just don't see many series that go like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or into the next week.
They missed the day because of the soccer tournament. So that's what it was.
So yeah, I would agree with you guys. I think Christopher Sanchez probably going to be hungry to pitch better here. And I can't disagree with anything you said about Casey Mize. Felt like the line was right from a side standpoint. And I just double checked my numbers. Yeah, I'm at 7.15. So I'm definitely on the under side of the total. Key number 7.5. Bryan, I think you found a good one with the under in this game. All right, let's get back to the chat. Looks like people. This is a quite the the Randy Arozarena Bowl here. The Mariners and the Rays, but interesting to me because of just like how the Mariners continue to look on a daily basis. Very lethargic. This is a team, Tokyo Brandon, that I thought was winning the American League coming into the year. Power rating them number 1 coming into the year ahead of the Yankees. Have been very much wrong about that, because not only have they not had the results, but you watch this team and it's like they just don't look like the part anymore either, which is getting, I guess, frustrating if you're trying to back the Mariners with any regularity. So two good pitchers on the mound right here, Logan Gilbert, Griffin Jacks. Mariners, Rays, how are you seeing this one, TV?
Yeah, the Mariners, one of those teams that I can never get right for some odd reason. They have really good players on their roster. They have probably, 1 through 5, probably the best pitching staff, at least a top 3 pitching staff in Major League Baseball. And still, they just can't seem to dominate like they should. On paper, this team looks like they should be dominating. They have the hitters, but they're hitting 23 out of 30 in current form. I got the Rays hitting 21, so neither team is actually raking right now. When I look at how the two starters fare against the teams they're facing today, very average numbers. Nothing stands out on the page. The one separator here, I suppose, would be the bullpen for the Rays is pitching outstanding right now, and Mariners not so much. I don't know. I think this looks like an under to me as well. I think both pitchers are pitching really well. Griffin Jacks is a guy probably no one's ever heard of, but he's pitching really well. Looks like an under to me. And by the way, guys, you can get a double play, 2 of us 3 for 3 days. Huge discount, so go grab that. 2 of us already have a 4% play out today. I would go under or nothing.
Yeah, listen, this is an interesting comment, Brian. Prop King says, Mariners are lazy. I kind of have felt that at times. I don't think that's I don't think that's an unfair assessment. I'll watch Mariners baseball sometimes, and it does feel like it's a lazy effort at times. This team just with the pitching that they have, and what we know that this team is capable of from last season. Yeah, like 47 and 48. It's something other than ability, in my opinion, that's causing this. It's getting really tough to get behind this team at this point.
Yeah, if you watched the game yesterday, and I did because it was my big play on Tampa. Randy Rosarina used to play in Tampa. He was playing left field for Seattle, fly ball out to down the foul line in left field, and he basically gave up on it way too early. He could have easily dove for it, caught the ball. He probably should have caught it on the fly. It falls. As soon as it fell, I'm thinking to myself, why the hell didn't he catch that ball? And then you turn around and they show Castillo, the starting pitcher, who has he basically, everything he does is on his sleeve. His emotions are right there. He was clearly upset. Something's going on in that locker room. We've seen this thing about going to the 6-man rotation, going back to the piggybacks. There's something going on there, and Castillo, I think, is probably a main cause, because he's the one that bitched about being pulled from the rotation originally. He's a veteran. He's been a team leader for them for a long time, but something's going on in that locker room. Obviously, I'm not there to verify it, but there's something going on in Seattle, and you're right. They just don't seem to be going full effort every time out. Griffin Jacks, they moved him from the closer to starter, and he's getting stretched out. Last time I talked about him probably only playing going 5 innings, he went 7 innings. He was great. So yeah, I in kind of an agreement with the under here. Gilbert's been terrific as of late again. I had concerns about him earlier in the season, but his numbers are really good. 2 starters that I want to back. I have no problem with either one of the bullpens. If I'm playing it, I'm playing the under, but I don't know if I want to back Seattle in a winning cover situation where it's a pick 'em. So it's probably not a game I'm going to be interested in, but I do want to watch to see how Seattle rebounds, because it wasn't just me making those comments. It was the entire country was showing film of his lack of effort. So we'll see what happens in today's game.
Yeah, David Dubin says Mariners most overrated team. No reason to sugarcoat it. I would agree. A bit relative to where I had them coming into the year, extremely overrated. But in this game, Brian, I agree with you. Super difficult to pick a side, because the Mariners can be half asleep, but if Logan Gilbert comes out and does what he's been doing, what he's capable of doing, going 8 innings, no runs, 7 strikeouts. He's on a heck of a run the last month or so. Tough to fade that as well. As far as the effort, I'd love to see the Mariners just put everyone on notice and call up like Cade Anderson, Lazaro Montes, and Michael Arroyo all at the same time and said, hey guys, you're playing.
Yep.
All right. And bench some of these old veterans. And if you really want to like just, shake things up, if the club, you're not going to ruin the clubhouse vibe. There is no vibe. So call up these studs that have a ton of energy and just play them right now. That's what I'd do if I was the Mariners. All right, we got to go to our guy Freebird, jumps in. He comes in with a donation. We very much appreciate you for that. All the donations to this show get donated to charity. Any show on the WagerTalk platform, if you donate via the YouTube channel, it goes to a good cause. And we see your comment and we get your game. So Freebird Tokyo Brandon says, great show. Thanks for doing this on the weekend. How about the Braves today? Kind of a crazy game last night. Torrential downpours, but they still play it. And the Braves kind of end up on the wrong side of a rain-affected game for sure. Chris Sale only gets to go 3 innings, and they lose that game. So, Tokyo Brandon, to you, do the Braves bounce back in St. Louis today?
I absolutely think they do. Lopez is a guy I never really liked to back until this season. He's looking really good. And out of all the starters, I did my starter rankings, and Lopez tops the list against these Cardinals. 296 OPS in his career is pretty darn good. I definitely think he has the ability to hold them down today. And I got the Atlanta Braves hitting better than the Cardinals. And I've got both bullpens ranked neck and neck at 20 in current form. Not very reliable. And Lopez doesn't exactly go deep into games. So a little bit of a concern on the bullpen, but they're equally bad. So I'll give that a push. I think a huge pitching advantage here for the Braves and the lineup advantage as well. Add to the fact that they should have won that game yesterday and they didn't. And I think we have a Braves win here. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make that my parlay leg is going to be the Braves on the money line. I think it's around 119.
They're actually right now. It's basically a pick 'em. So you can get
cow.
Atlanta at like minus 107.
Somebody is going to have to tell me. One of you two is going to have to tell me why this game is a pick 'em, because I don't think it is.
Well, Atlanta doesn't hit lefties as well as they do righties. The reason why I kind of agree with you here is I think the St. Louis bullpen is in pretty good shape here. They didn't use Iglesias or Lee each of the last 2 days. Kinley's only pitched. He threw 17 pitches yesterday, but that was the only time he's pitched in 4 days. St. Louis is a team that is getting the best out of their bullpen. They had to use their top 4 relievers yesterday. Bryan's pitched 2 of the last 3. Romero's pitched 3 of the last 4. So I like the bullpen situation here for Atlanta a little bit better. Liberatore is, to me, he's the weakest pitcher in the St. Louis rotation. He has pitched pretty well over the last 2 weeks. He's ranked 63rd, but overall on the season, he's ranked 140th, and all the other guys are ranked in the top 100. So I understand that, and that's the way I'm looking at it. And I think Atlanta does get a nice bounce back here today. They had to use the bullpen more than they wanted yesterday, but and that sucks when you bet. And I talked about that before the games went off because of the rain. You would see certain games where your starter may not go as long, and that was what happened yesterday. You hate to blow a start for your ace Sale and only get 3 innings out of them, but hey, you can't stop the weather, and that's what they did yesterday. So yeah, I think Atlanta gets the victory here.
That's going to be a consensus right there. I think Atlanta gets the victory as well. I don't really. I'm with you, TB. Not really quite sure why this is moving the way it is. To me, there's a clear pitching advantage here across the board for the Braves. Bryan nicely laid out what the bullpen usage looks like. Of course, both teams had usage yesterday. Both starters were forced out after 3 innings, but I would say that I agree with Bryan. The Cardinals' usage is a little bit more significant. And yeah, I mean, I've never been a big Ronaldo Lopez guy, but give me him over Liberatore right now. Liberatore expected ERA, mid-5s, expected batting average, 280, giving up a ton of hard hit. Really, really at this point, not much in terms of like redeeming qualities from him when I evaluate pitching. He's a veteran, and he's gonna, he's probably, I guess the redeeming quality for him as a pitcher at this point is he's got the right mentality. Like, he's probably not getting down on himself. He's going out, and he's just going to give him what he's got every fifth day. But like, this is not a guy that I'm worried about playing against on a one-off at this point. And so if you do get some of those, leverage guys with a little usage for the Cardinals, and you think the bullpen sets up better for the Braves, then this is like kind of like it's got to be the Braves. So yeah, I'm with both of you. I like the Braves here. This is actually on a short list for me today of potential client plays. That the Braves is on that list, and if they're going to give us a better number, I might have no choice. So yeah, that's a good call, TV. Someone said Rambles like, they're all three of them run the other way. Yeah, now, listen, that hasn't always happened. We've hit some of the consensus ones, and it's not a total. It's only if all three of us say under, then there's 100 runs. I think if all three of us are on the side, we're all right.
That's actually true. We did pick an under once, and it was like 16-9 or something.
Hey, we didn't say it was under 30. We didn't specify.
Yeah, we didn't say under 9. We said under 26.
So. We still have time for one more. So we do have the parlay locked in, but we are going to hit one more game. This one is interesting. Because I agree with him though. Mike S says unpopular contrarian play. Angels money line. Rumors are that Joe Ryan will be or is on a pitch count so that he can pitch in the All-Star game on Tuesday. Don't like the Twins bullpen. Well, listen, even if he wasn't, and you guys know I love Joe Ryan. Like I'm a Joe Ryan guy. But this price, Bryan Leonard, seemed awfully high, even for Joe Ryan on the mound here. So yeah, I can get down with that, with the Angels having some value. And if you're going to put Joe Ryan on a pitch count, if there's any truth to that, I like the Angels even more. I agree with you, Mike. Bryan, what do you think about that?
Normally, I would not agree with that, but keep in mind, he wanted to pitch in the World Baseball Classic, and they held him out of it. If he wants to pitch in the All-Star game, I think they will let him do that. So if you're going to play Joe Ryan and you want to play Minnesota, I would play the first 5 when you know he's going to be in there. He'll probably do the old 5 and fly. Which makes a lot of sense. And like I said, if they hadn't done that to him in the World Baseball Classic, I don't think it would have mattered. I think they're going to do whatever the team says, but now it makes sense that they would do something like that for him, because at the moment they're still not in playoff contention, although they are playing better than a lot of people thought. Johnson's a guy for the Angels who I'm pretty high on. His numbers haven't been great since he's been up there, but the Angels are not, as I've said before, they don't develop pitching very well. But this is a guy, one of the few guys there that I actually like. They're younger pitchers. So I could see that. Yeah, and I saw that like a 180 on the overnight, and I said, oh, my God, I'm going to be on the Angels. Now I see that some of the sharper books are hitting the 160s range, 168, 167. That means the sharp bettors out there are in agreement with us. So if you do want to play the Angels, you better get it now. You can still catch 154s out there. I see a 155 if you're looking to play them, but that would be the only way to look at this is play the dog.
Yeah, I mean, look at Tokyo Brandon. Anything for you on the total? I feel like the 9 flat. Angels have had some bullpen usage. I don't care for this Twins bullpen. This one could get up and over that 9.
Twins bullpen is performing poorly for sure. But let me just address a point. I've never, ever heard of a team sacrificing a regular season for an all-star game. But like Bryan's point, Joe Ryan's the kind of pitcher where he has enough clout to where if he wants something, management will probably let him have it. So it's possible. I don't know where you read that, but I highly doubt a team would sacrifice a regular season game for an all-star game. It could be, but I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see, like, again, I think it's more, maybe it's just something they're going to be conscious of. Listen, certain guys, it's very few, but like Joe Ryan has been in this but like Joe Ryan, I would say he's in the category of, he's been in this organization, I believe, most of his career. I think he got traded from the Rays at one point, but still, he's been with the Twins for a while. They had the opportunity to trade him last year at the deadline. They didn't. He's kind of their ace. Yeah, I think if he's like, hey, I would like to pitch in the All-Star game, there's a more of a net positive right now of keeping him happy than there is like getting one more inning out of him on a random game on a Saturday in July. Like if you can get him there, Go ahead, TB.
No, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it's like if that's what's going to make this guy happy, like I do think there probably is some truth to it. That's all I'm saying.
He's been a Twin his whole life. So, and also he's been one of their best pitchers his whole career. So I agree he's got clout, but like I said, I've never heard of a team do anything for an all-star game in sacrificing a regular season game in any way whatsoever. And I've never heard of a pitcher who cares more about pitching an all-star game than his stats.
Did you hear Zach Wheeler the other day? Some of these guys do care. Listen,
really,
Zach Wheeler came out, was pissed.
Very upset. And he deserves to be upset. And Ohtani, like I said, that earlier game when he didn't want to pitch in Sacramento. These guys have clout, and
they did.
And he was drafted by Tampa Bay. I don't remember if he pitched for the Rays in the majors or not, but
he did not.
He's been with Minnesota for a long time, and he is the guy. He's the leader on this team from a pitching standpoint. So yeah, I think he'll still go 5 innings. He's not going to give up a chance of getting a win, but at that point, I could see it. But yeah, it was good information coming from the chat. That's why we love the chat. It's impossible for us to follow every single team and everything that's out there. So we appreciate the information.
And one more thing
we have
here.
The smartest audience.
Mike S is the one that initially brought it up. And so I'll close it out with his comment right here. He says he's been a loyal member of a bad team for years. They'll give him the opportunity if he wants it. Also coming off of an 100-pitch outing last time out. Yeah, it kind of makes sense that they maybe would limit his pitch count a little bit off of that. They know Tuesday is the All-Star game. It'll kind of be his throw day. It'll be, or like they'll move up his day to just kind of throw so he can get the inning. Yeah, I could see it regardless coming off the 100-pitch outing that he maybe doesn't go quite as deep. And I think that's really important to know because there's a big drop-off between Joe Ryan being out there and then one of these Twins relievers. And then you talk about the Angels. Their bullpen has been used up a little bit. They used some of their leverage guys last night. So, yeah, I think you could talk yourself into an over 9 here as well. Good chat on that game. That was a good one for sure. Yeah, great way to finish up the show right there. Thought that was a really good discussion. Our 3-teamer for today. So a couple of things. Check out listen, if you're going to use the double play package today, use it on the 2 guys to my right and my left. They both have plays up right now. Tokyo Brandon, Bryan Leonard, you can get them on the double play for a discounted rate. If you're interested in my stuff longer term, use that coupon code ADAM30. It gets you 30% off anything on my site. And we've extended that coupon through the weekend. Shout out to the home office for extending that through the weekend. 30% off anything on my page, even if it's already discounted. So a lot of those long-term things already have a discount. You can use the ADAM30 coupon on top of it. I already gave out go ahead, TB. Go ahead.
Quick point. 30% off. You could get a full year. It's like $1,000. You get 30% off on that. It's huge value.
Yeah. So
guys. Seriously.
Yeah, it comes out to $2.80 per day if you do the annual, because you're getting the discount that's already on there, and then you're getting another 30%. So that is a sort of when you need to buy. If you're looking long term, WagerTalk every once in a while will do really good specials or flash sales or stuff like that. Always want to take advantage of that. As far as today is concerned, I just gave you my play that I've locked in. That's going to be Pirates game 1 of the doubleheader -116. And that's also going to kick off our 3-team parlay for the show. So I am going to go with Pirates game 1 -116, Braxton Ashcraft on the mound. That's a 4% play for my clients. And that is the first leg of our parlay. We will then go Bryan Leonard with Phillies Tigers under 7.5 -120. And Tokyo Brandon is going Braves -107. So Pirates game 1, full game, Braves full game, and then a full game total, Phillies Tigers under 7.5. That's your 3-teamer for today. That's 3 of us will be back. Special show, special Sunday show to close out the first half right here, 9 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning. So come join us for that. And we'll see you guys with a rare Sunday show. Let's finish the first half strong. Have a great weekend, everyone. And cash all your tickets today. Let's have a day.